say opposites attract, but that's getting harder to believe due to some major political polarization in recent years. Now the Washington Post editorial board is out with a recent piece warning that, quote, if attitudes don't shift, a political dating mismatch will threaten marriage. Now Salon's out with a different take, saying in a piece titled, "It's a good thing most women don't want to date Trump voters." It goes on to say, quote, "It's an amusing truth that comes up with regularity. Men who love Donald Trump struggle on the dating market. This is neither surprising nor regrettable," it writes. "Supporting Trump is much like refusing to bathe, blowing your nose in your hands," and goes on to conclude it's a repugnant habit that makes you repulsive to normal people.
This is the first bit of news that has made any sense to me lately. Stick around. In a minute, I will play for you the least self-aware clip you will hear this week. But yes, it tracks that people would find Trump supporters repulsive to date. Why is it? Not just because of the absurd outfits that they wear, not just because of the extremist views that they have on most issues, the enormous lack of education, the general vibe that kind of tells you that they don't have the discernment to be able to know right from wrong, good from bad, fact from fiction. But it's also just the general worshiping and absurd lampoon of a man that would, by all reason, dictate that women with any sort of brain on their heads and inside of their heads and on their shoulders, inside the head that is on top of their shoulders, would not be into that. But there's more.
For all those women who don't want to date Trump supporters, not applying to you, I feel sorry for them. They're going to date and maybe ultimately marry a bunch of beta guys who won't, want to split the check, won't open the door, won't protect them. I think that, this idea that Trump voters are somehow repugnant is repugnant to say that. These are great men. Many of them are the ones that are keeping this country running.
They're keeping this country running. They're actively trying to tear down this country. And of course, it just took them a few minutes there at Fox News to get to calling non-Trump supporters beta dudes.
They're going to date and maybe ultimately marry a bunch of beta guys.
Can we dispel this myth once and for all? Do you think perhaps it's much more obviously the beta dudes that worship, pray to, and wear the clothing on their chest of absurd, idealized versions of the person that they wish was their king? And even though he doesn't look like the muscle version they put on their shirt, they kind of bow down to him and put another man's name all over their body. Seems like the most beta cuck vibe stuff I've maybe ever seen.
Is there anything that he could do to lose your support, Danny? Anything at all?
If he slept with my mom, that would probably be, I wouldn't be cool with him with that. But actually, now that I think about that, it'd actually be pretty cool. So actually, probably nothing.
Instead of, alpha males that do what's called independent thinking. If they truly believe that you have to date a Trump supporter to get the door opened for you, or to not have the check split on a date, or to be protected, it's absurd. It was a lot of Trump supporter vibes that, didn't run into the school in Uvalde, Texas. It was a lot of Trump supporter vibes that, spend all of their date money on Trump gear. It's a lot of Trump supporter vibes that I'm pretty certain don't have, let's say, the best manners to open the door for women. Even Trump himself would go off of Air Force One first before his wife, wouldn't put an umbrella over her head when it was raining, and then would occasionally needed to hold her hand for PR reasons. She would smack it away for good reason. So it seems yet again the opposite. But here is the clip I promised you up top. Least self-aware thing you will hear this week. It is hilarious.
Do you think that's true, or that dating market that Salon is writing about, is that just sort of their own petri dish? Because the reality is you can't tell a Trump voter by the outside. So how would they ever know?
You can't tell a Trump voter from the outside? Of all humans, you can tell Trump voters from the outside. They literally wear bright red hats. They say the same thing on them, "Make America Great Again." And then often they are head to toe in other Trump gear. They look like a patriotic parade float that exploded onto their bodies. You very much can tell who they are. Blind people are like right there, and they're blind. Does that make sense? But I'm going to give you a bonus, unbelievable clip from a news piece on the same story, but from Newsmax this time, with maybe the least sensical sentence you will ever hear in your life.
I don't even think your party, your political party necessarily, is definitely your values. I think, what do you believe in? What things do you stand for? I think those are the most important things.
I don't think your political party represents your values. It's instead what you believe in and what things you stand for. Where do you stand for those things? At the Girl Scout cookie line? It's your political party and the political issues you stand for that are how you determine what you stand for instead of just the lip service you pay to stuff. Unless, could it be that some Trump Republicans are only choosing their political identity because it's their whole personality and they do it so they can fit into a group and don't actually believe in the abhorrent, terrible, awful things that Trump and Trump people stand for? Is it possible? Do they not even know what the point of politics is? That it's not some big game show? That the whole point of it is to make laws and public policy and influence the way people are treated and the way our lives go? That would explain a lot if they didn't understand that politics isn't a game or a popularity contest and in fact actually determines people's lives. Wild. Maybe this explains the whole damn thing. I'm Ben Gleib for Rebel HQ. If you would like more comedic content, sometimes political comedic content, go to @BenGleib on Instagram. Click follow. Watch my new special, which is now kind of old, The Mad King. The link in bio gets you there. And to all my stuff. Thanks.